Okay, so this is the judge training session for the NSDA Vietnam tournament that's happening on Saturday, March 20th, 2021, and it's happening online. So you're going to be judging teams and connecting to them through Tabroom. So the first step is to make sure our Tabroom accounts are linked. We're assuming we're there. And I want to say a big giant thank you to the judges who are going to give their time and volunteer to help our young debaters. So huge thanks to you for the time that you're taking to do this. Some things you will need for this to run smoothly. First, you're going to need access to your tabroom.com account, and it does need to be linked to your school. All messages about the rounds of debate and who's participating, as well as a video icon that's going to take you into a mini Zoom room through the NSDA campus, will be coming to you through Tabroom, and you should also get a notification in your linked email. You should have, and I like to have this on paper, an overview of the times and the components of public forum debate. So I've provided a guide to public forum, and you can see the times for each component. Our debaters should keep time themselves. However, they may need your guidance. So if the section is only 4 minutes long and they've been speaking for 4 minutes and 5 seconds, let them know. You turn your microphone on and say, okay, time's up, and they need to stop. You will need a device to keep time with. You may do that on your laptop simultaneously and project it into the screen if you like, or you can just have your phone as a timer beside you, whatever you're comfortable with. The scoring rubric has been provided to everybody. It's a 30-point scoring rubric. That is something you will also need. And I strongly recommend you have something to take notes on. Debates happen really fast. I prefer taking notes on paper. So for the people here, I've provided some paper ballots, but you're not going to actually provide those to me or to the debaters. That's just a place that you can use to take notes if you like. If you prefer scrap paper or a notebook, that's up to you. And the debate rounds will start with a coin toss. So again, I'm going to ask the judges to either be ready. I'll share a virtual coin toss that you can do online, or if you want to be traditional and have a physical coin of any kind that has heads or tails, then you ask the teams to call it, heads, tails, and the winner of the coin flip, which you will do on screen, gets to decide what side they'd like to be. So would they like to be pro or con? And they also get to decide the order of speakers.
Who tosses the coin?
Judge tosses the coin. Okay, so the schedule we're going to be following has 5 rounds. The first 3 rounds will require all of the judges, unless you've prearranged with me a schedule that is flexible. Then assume that you will be judging in rounds 1, 2, and 3. Round 1 begins at 9:25 a.m. Round 2 begins around 10. So this is the schedule. By the semifinal and the final, we are going to need fewer judges. So many of you will not be needed in the semifinal and final. We only need 6 judges and 3 judges. They'll be working on a panel. So starting the round involves clicking a button that you'll see appear on Tabroom that says Start Round. You need to click that as soon as all 4 debaters show up in your virtual room. So you click that Start Round button, and then the debaters begin following the time guide that you'll use on this guide to public forum or on those ballots that I've given you. You just follow those times that you have on your paper.
So start round will be at 9:25, or we toss the coin at 9:25?
So once everybody enters the room, you can start. So I'm aiming for the opening ceremony on Zoom to end at 9:15, 9:20.
Yeah.
I am hoping that I've released the ballots and the rooms to you sometime during that opening ceremony or before. And you'll see a button that says start round as soon as you get a notification that appears like this.
Mm.
So you click that once you have everybody present. If by 9:25 you don't have everybody present, I'm gonna share with you a help desk email. Contact one of us. It'll be me and my student executive, and we will try to track those people down. But if everybody's there at 9:20, you go ahead and get it started ahead of time, because we want to allow time. I've been advised, set an ambitious schedule, and we may experience a few delays as we get closer to round 3, because sometimes feedback will take a little longer, or there could be tech time issues or things like that. So once you finish the opening ceremony, you're going to check your email or check your tab room account, and you'll see it will say Judge Dubois is judging in this room. There'll be a little video camera icon that you'll see, and it will say the surnames of the 2 members of each debate team and the school that they're from. They'll have the same video camera icon. You click on that, and that will take you into your own mini Zoom room. So there should be 2 members of a team and 2 members of another team, and you, the judge, present in this little virtual room. You should facilitate introductions. So you, as the adult in the room, make sure you get everybody's name. If they're able to rename themselves, if they've got something creative appearing, it should just appear as their first name and last name, but make sure you know who everybody is. Then you facilitate a coin toss. I'll share this presentation, and there's a link right here. This online link takes you to an online coin toss if you'd like to do it that way, or if you want to be a traditionalist and have a physical coin, then you toss the coin. Whoever calls it gets to decide whether they debate on pro or con, and they also get to decide if they speak first or second. So they've practiced this, and they should know what this means. Okay, any questions at this point? All right. So points will be determined on this 30-point scoring rubric that's been shared with you. There's paper copies here, and I'll make sure everybody that's not present here has a link to this file. I'd recommend you have it in paper. You're going to weigh what's been said in the speeches more significantly than what is coming up in the crossfire. So there's sections where the debaters speak for 4 minutes, they present their case, and then there's a crossfire where they ask and answer questions. What they present in the prepared speeches should be more important, but let the crossfire sway the balance. Their questions are important too.
I have a question.
Sure.
I've experienced like judging a debate just in high school a few weeks ago, and the kids were speaking really, really fast, and it was really hard for other people to follow, including myself, and taking notes. If this is the case, can we interrupt them and ask them to speak slowly, because
Yes.
it's not. Okay. I know they're on the time.
And experienced debaters will ask you if you have a preference as a judge, and some judges will say it's okay, it's up to you, your comfort zone. I can follow if you're speaking slowly or quickly. Other judges, if it's your preference for them to speak slowly and clearly, they should be able up in tab room to allow 0.5s. So you can give a score between 20 points and 30 points, and it can be a 27.5. If you're thinking that the argumentation is more like a 28, however, the rebuttal is more like a 27, you give one score to each of the 4 speakers at the end. So not a category score on this rubric, it's a holistic thing. You need to decide on an overall number. A score below 25 should be used sparingly. that's a really poor debate score. Under
Under
25 would be somebody was offensive, completely unprepared, made attacks on the other team, was really inappropriate. So the range that you're probably going to be using is between 25, that's an average, okay. They mostly filled their time, but they may have repeated themselves and stumbled a little bit.
Unclear.
Or unclear, not enough evidence, those are things you might see. A 30 is also a perfect score, like this person has dazzled you, wowed you, thought of things that you yourself probably couldn't have, and was really impressive. So 20 to 24.
0.5 is possible, like
Yeah.
something 0.5.
0.5s are possible. Probably 25 to 30 is the range that you're looking at, and try to avoid tied scores among the 4 speakers. So you've got 2 members of 2 teams. Generally, there's something that'll give you a 0.5 stronger for one, or in those scores. Of course, don't allow personal bias. Even the debaters, as you see, they chose with a coin toss. So what they're saying isn't what they personally believe, and you will have a bias and you will personally see one side. It's important that you try to set that aside. The things you should judge based on are these factors. So scope, the number of people affected if the decision were to go one way. So the resolution for our tournament is that birthright citizenship should be abolished in the United States. So does that affect a lot of people in the way that they framed it? Magnitude would be the strength of the effect. So for example, is somebody minorly inconvenienced, or is their entire life totally transformed? So the number of people, but also the strength of the effect for them. Is the decision reversible? So if the law was changed, can it be changed back? An example would be like the death penalty. That's a decision that's not reversible if a mistake is made. Probability, how likely is it to make a difference? And is this going to be something that the impact is seen in 50 years from now or tomorrow? So these are kind of the factors that we weigh as judges considering the decision that we're going to make. I think it's important that we be consistent. So you're going to be entering your scores into tabroom.com. There will be a section on the ballot after where you give comments to team 1, comments to team 2, and a reason for decision that goes to both. We've decided that it's better if we don't tell them who won at the end of the debate. You can give them some verbal feedback about speaker strengths, things that they could work on, but they're going to see whether they advance by the tab room tabulation, letting them know whether they're in the semifinals. All of your written comments at the end of the debate will become visible to the debaters by the end, so they'll be able to see the comments for their own team. So try to be as descriptive and constructive as you can, but don't tell them who won or lost, because we want to keep the people who lost still motivated to go along throughout the next rounds. Advancement in this tournament is determined by their points and their win-loss record. You will be typing up a reason for decision at the end. So this is something that, as I judge, I think about it as I go along, and I'm making notes, and I use those notes to type something quickly at the end. We're asking that you do a minimum of 50 words, and here's an example of one that I wrote up after we did a practice. Some reasons based on their argumentation. Wow. Doesn't have to be that detailed, it's up to you.
I need to study the topic before, because I cannot go like without knowing anything about it.
You know what though? This is meant, as a judge, you're meant to be a member of the public. It's their job to convince you, so don't feel like you need to study ahead of time.
So the topics are already, of course, they're already established, but
Yes.
there's a different topic for round 1, round 2, round 3, or just
They're
it's all
debating the same topic each
Oh, okay.
time,
Which
but they may end up on pro or con
From
they
what
don't know
2020
yet.
either side. So yeah, they've done their research only on this one topic.
So
and
the
they will-
entire debate that we're in, I know you probably said this at the beginning, but the entire debate will with the same kids the entire time.
So for only each round,
Mhm.
it's gonna change after every round. So you'll get a notification that'll come to your email and to the tab room account we'll set up that tells you which kids will be in your room. So you'll have a different group for each of the 3 rounds.
4 kids for 2 judges.
Yeah.
Can we consult the other judge? No, it's
So
completely.
no, you,
Absolutely.
one judge.
I've got a class starting. in
Okay,
2
I'll
minutes.
catch up with you later.
Yeah.
It's all good. Don't be sorry. Thank you so
One
much
judge
for
for
helping.
4 kids. So we're alone judging these 4 kids, right?
One judge for 4 kids, yes. It's only the semifinal and the final that you have
2 judges.
2 judges in.
Makes sense.
All right. Another thing that I'm preparing us for, but hopefully we don't need to use, is tech time. So in a tournament that runs online, we can give these kids about 10 minutes grace if they're having Wi-Fi issues, fumbling around with the technology. But
There was last time. There were some issues.
yeah, so if it goes on longer than 10 minutes, it could disrupt the entire tournament's flow.
Yeah.
And there's a few things we can consider. So if it's just an issue with one of the debaters,
Yes.
their partner can stand
Okay.
in that component that partner would have done. We do have an SSIS Debate Club Gmail that I'll send out in an email so you have it. Don't worry about writing it down. But we will have a few people on standby checking that regularly. Reach out to us if you're having issues and we'll try to help you troubleshoot. Worst case scenario, you can suggest an alternative platform. Tab Room will still work, you can still give your feedback there, but if you get the contact information of these 4 kids and want to generate your own Google Meet so that it works, if it's the software within our framework, then please go ahead. And last resort will be that round would be canceled and it would be treated as a bye, which means that the students would have the points from their other rounds doubled and they wouldn't necessarily be at a disadvantage other than missing the experience. So now for how to start a round on Tab Room. So in your Tab Room account,
We're
Once
gonna
you've
have
linked-
this, we're gonna have this, right?
Yep. Once you've linked to the tournament, you're going to see, if you look on the right-hand side at the top, that you have an upcoming tournament. You can click on Judging Upcoming, and you'll see the NSDA Vietnam tournament. And it won't show you the rounds yet. I'm not going to release who's debating against who and who the judges are adjudicating until Saturday morning. But you're gonna click on start round when everybody shows up in your room. If you don't get a notification by, let's say, 15 minutes after we're intending to start the round, reach out to that Gmail and double check. There is a possibility we won't need all judges for all rounds, especially once we get to the semifinals. And we're gonna try and balance judge representations from the participating schools so that we're not unwittingly favoring a particular team. So you'll see what's upcoming, and if you have a ballot, it will look like this. Once you have all 4 debaters, you're gonna click on start round.
From the top here at where it says judging, do we need to click on anything?
This is just gonna allow you to see what's there. You don't. This notification will pop up right in the front of your main screen and be really in your face. It will also link to your own email that's linked to the Tab Room account.
Okay.
So as long as that linking is taken care of, it should be really obvious and easy to see. I was also worried about this the first time I did it. After that, then you just engage in the debate and take your notes and don't worry about any of this other Tab Room stuff. The debaters will debate for about 45 minutes, depending on whether they use their 2 minutes of prep time. Everything will go like that, and usually within about 55 minutes you've entered your feedback and everything. So as the debate goes, I encourage you to take notes on paper because at the end you're gonna have these tabs. So you're going to need to submit a ballot at the end. It's going to ask you for the points for each of the speakers. Their names will be clearly labeled, so try to remember who was who. It will say whether they were affirmative or negative, and you're gonna need to choose who wins. So you're gonna choose the winning entry, and it will say affirmative or negative. You
Winning
click that.
entry means one person or one team?
Winning
team.
entry means one team.
One
One
team.
team.
Good question. And then you also click the same thing here.
Mm.
Low point win would mean that actually the total of the 2 points on the team you chose to win is less than the total of the points on the other. It's possible, but I've never been in a scenario where I've wanted to do that. Usually the stronger speakers are the winner.
Mm.
Then you're going to enter your reason for decision, like the example I showed you. That goes here, and that can be viewed by both teams that participated in this round. So they'll be able to read what you wrote later. And then it'll say like SSIS and the initials of the debaters.
Mm.
If you want to enter specific comments for them, you can. And if you want to enter specific comments for the other team, you can. You're encouraged to give them as much feedback as you can because they want to learn from you. They really are interested in the suggestions that you have. And even if you're not experienced in debate, you can generally judge good quality speaking and convincing arguments. So give them some constructive feedback. When that's done, click submit ballot. So the only thing you must write is the reason for decision. The feedback to each team is optional but encouraged. Points for each speaker between that range of probably 25 to 30. Go in here and you choose affirmative or negative, and again click it here just to be certain. I've once messed it up and they didn't match, and Tab Room will send you a error message like, oops, something doesn't look right here, please fix it.
So this is just to confirm, like, these two boxes are the same, but one is the shorter version, right?
Exactly.
Just to make sure that we clicked on the right.
Right, it's just double checking that we're
Yes.
not making an
Verification.
error and giving the wrong team the win.
Mm.
So there's a quick 3-minute video and invite your questions. So I've given a lot of information. What questions might you have?
So how long do we have to enter the comments after? So when the 45 minutes?
Yeah, so ideally you would do it within 10 minutes after the round. So I'd appreciate if you sat down and did that and entered it, because we are not able to start the next round until every one of those judges has entered and submitted their ballot. Because based on that information in the first one, Tab Room's gonna use an algorithm to calculate who pairs with who in the subsequent rounds.
Okay.
So I would like it within 10 to 15 minutes after the completion of the round. So you give your verbal comments to the kids, and then you type up your comments, click submit. You are
This
able
is
to
after
go
the
back.
45 minutes. 45 minutes is just for their talking time.
Yeah.
And then do we click on something to stop? I can't remember, to stop.
You don't need to click on anything because the ones you would have seen in school were based on the teacher's Zoom construction. This room will stay open and will be reused in the next round by different debaters and a different judge, and they'll get that notification when round 2 is ready to start.
So, does judge continue to open the video or no need? No need.
You don't need to, and if you can close that video out and go just into the ballot section,
Yeah.
which will open up once you enter the room anyway. It'll be easy to see where that is. So yeah, you can leave the video and the kids will leave the video and they'll have their own little discussion and they'll be waiting for the next round.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So one team will have one judge, right? For round 1, 2, and 3.
Correct, yeah,
Right.
2 teams, 1 judge.
2 team, one judge.
So once again, we're tossing the coins at the beginning of the round.
Yes, and
So
that
at the beginning of
allows the
we
kids.
start the round and then we toss the coin, and that will take probably a minute.
A minute, yep. And then the kids shouldn't have too much time to prepare. They've written their opening speeches and they should be ready with an opening speech for both affirmative and negative.
If we toss the coin with a physical coin, do we need to show them?
You can, I would hold it up to the camera
Yeah.
just to let them know, but I don't think they're gonna question you.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So you have to ask who will go head and who will go for tail, right?
Right,
Firstly.
yeah.
Right.
And then whoever wins gets to choose
Start.
if they want pro or con.
Okay. So if they should, they will select pro or con, right? But who speak first?
So they also get to determine that. The winner also gets to determine that. If they're a bit confused and a bit newer to this, I would suggest just the pro team speaks first. It tends to be easier to follow.
Right.
But
if winner select the con,
and they would like to select to speak first, they are entitled to do that.
okay.
Yeah.
Another question: are they all from the same grade?
No, they are all high school students.
But
so
it could be
they could be.
10,
I think we have mostly 9th and 10th. However, there are a few 11th and maybe some 12th grades.
Okay. Do we know the topic ahead?
Yeah, the topic is birthright citizenship should be abolished in the US. So if you click on the link to the website that I sent earlier, there's some resources that the kids have been using. But like I said before, you are a member of the public. It's the kids' job to convince you with their argumentation. So they should give you enough information that as someone who doesn't know the topic super well, you should be able to respond.